attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya, he was captured by the Resistance, and a lot of his people who work with the organization were injured. Mei had to retreat, Kendo and I believe a few others had to get their injuries looked at. Now, with that being said, they have regrouped and are currently trying to figure out their plan. Since they are missing Nejire and Midoriya. And this is very, very bad. In fact, the organization, they don't want to say how bad it actually is. Midoriya can bend reality. And if he does come back, then that's it. If the reality benders can't do their job, then they're doomed. Even the CEO, he needs to maintain his position. They are so focused on simply keeping Midoriya contained. If they even feel like their reality is being manipulated, they're going to simply all attack him at once. Rip him out of reality, and fight him there. That's quite literally the only plan they have. Now, with that being said, let us cut over to Midoriya, who is with the Resistance. He is currently talking with Bakugo, who has quite simply informed him about what is going on. They have him and that girl. They're simply captured. And that is the end of it. Those cuffs that he's currently wearing, they're made by their smartest person, their essential mechanic. They're very good with technology, and Midoriya doesn't really care, barely get paying attention, trying to simply bend or create quirks around him. He's trying to create a quirk that is not connected to his body, but at the same time will allow him to use it, like telekinesis, or the ability to cause spontaneous explosions. Nothing is working. Bakugo snapping him back into focus, telling him that he has a lot of nerve, and to simply listen to him. Now, Midoriya finally at least looks at Bakugo again. That look on his eyes, or look on his face and in his eyes, tells Bakugo everything he needs to know. He's trying to escape party, not even caring what he has to say. Bakugo going on to state that he should really just join them, give up and fight the organization. I know it's not too late. You could at least have something left to your name, before they simply just execute you. Really. And what do I have to gain from joining you? For all of my life, the organization's provided everything for me. Then you. They provided it for you too. You just didn't take their opportunities. Why? Why? Because I didn't want to kill the innocent. You of all people should know that. Fighting for a cause. Living this way isn't living at all. Living under someone's thumb. No. I'll quite simply die before that happens. I guess it should only be fitting that I'm the one who kills you. We protect people. We keep them safe. The cities, they barely have to deal with crime. The only ones that we're worried about are you. Safe. This isn't safe. This is a prison. A prison you make look like a city. The entire world is this way. Hell, that's why you lock us up. Because if you execute us, you'd simply just make us a martyr. Funny. I don't remember people rebelling. Well, I'm done with you. Baku just saying, turning around and walking out the door. Midoriya, looking down at his hands and trying to rip them apart with super strength, and manifest any other quirks that he has stockpiled in the back of his mind. Now, you also do have Nedre, who is being interrogated by their guy. Their guy can get answers out of anyone, and he used to be part of the organization. He was the former number 7 detective before Dobby showed up. Then he went to number 8. Then he left. Now, with that being said, you do have Shinsho, or Shinso. I'm not going to go into the specifics on how to pronounce it. Anyways, Shinso, he begins to interrogate Nejire and getting information out of her. She didn't know his quirk, so he simply didn't talk until he was able to provoke her. She was easily able to be enraged. All he simply had to do was make an insult to one of her coworkers, someone she might respect well. She tried insulting Midoriya. That didn't work. So she tried Tamaki. No dice. Mirio, though, that one was different. Apparently she might have him on a pedestal. And it's a bit odd. Now, he essentially just began by saying that they captured her number 1 detective. As soon as she called bullshit, that's whenever he got answers out of her. And he knows what he needs to know. She doesn't know anything about the whole reality bending thing that Katie talked about. So they leave her, moving on to Midoriya. As Katie stands outside that cell, and she wants to look through it and see it. The last time she saw her brother was not pretty. In fact, they tried to have a peaceful conversation. But then it backfired. Now, let us cut over to Midoriya. Roughly about, I would say, yeah, that works. Roughly about 11 months ago. He is still at home and recovering from brain surgery. In fact, he's supposed to be going back to work next week. Then, with a little bit more time, he's going to be going back out into the fields. As he swallows his meds and simply just begins to read a book. Now, while he is reading, you do have 2 people walk in, Toru and Mei. They are able to get off a bit early since the mechanics division, they're currently dealing with something else right now. Basically, the engineer department, they've done a lot today, and they rely on the ideas of their people. So they eventually do lock up shop and basically kick you out. Since if you're basically tired or falling behind, you're not doing your job properly. Toru, she came home because she was worried about Midoriya. She's able to do this. The organization allows her to do that. They don't really care. They simply say that she can use her sick days however many times she wants, while their number 3 detective, who just fell down to number 4, is recovering. Now, Midoriya does ask about Momo and where she is. They don't really know what to say. They didn't talk to her. In fact, this place, they're not really used to coming by. Midoriya lives here and they come by to see him every once in a while. May just saying that she's pretty sure her and Intelli were talking. They always do that. Then again, the chick doesn't really socialize with people very often either. Ah. Uh, who is Intelli again? Sayako Intelli. Come on, Sayako, does that not ring a bell? Ah. Honestly, at this point I'm gonna give up. Hey, come on, Toru. May is simply just stating that Midoriya's mind is like a machine, and the machine was damaged. They were able to replace parts, but getting it working again is going to take time. And yeah, if his memories don't come back again, then hey, what about it? He's still the same old guy. In fact, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, yeah, but still. I feel a bit more comfortable if he knew anything about our past. True, but hey. You gotta remember, even he didn't want to remember some things about it. Huh. Well, okay. Now, Midoriya, he still does want to ask a bit of questions. They used to be talking as Midoriya begins to prepare dinner. Toru doesn't really like it, but hey. Midoriya doesn't like simply just sitting around all the time. And he shouldn't really be doing it, but he's doing it anyway. He's using a quirk to help himself out in the kitchen. Telekinesis. Funny. The quirk feels natural. Now, Midoriya, while he's doing that, you do have, outside of the apartment, on the building across the street. Now, while these people are in the building, they are 5. Their 6th member is currently right on the balcony or a patio of Midoriya's penthouse, and they are waiting as they use their quirk to listen in, hearing the conversation going on inside. Midoriya is hearing about what they've gone through today as they sit down at a table to eat. This being quite interesting. The Resistance, they're going to only have one shot at this. They were told to come in today, or simply let the chance pass. They know exactly where Midoriya is going to be. They found this information out a bit too late. Midoriya is either here, or he simply has to stay hidden. He is told to only alter his appearance to go outside, since if it's found out that a detective is in recovery and is walking around, some people might take a shot. And Midoriya, he only keeps his regular face on at home. Now, the person who's listening in on the conversation hears the following. I still can't believe it, though. You survived a bullet to the head? Yeah, still kind of a shock to me. Though I don't get it. If I had a healing quirk, it should have kicked in. Can't really blame it, though. You were probably caught off guard. Yeah, I just don't know why. Let alone how, really. Well, I mean, you can't really blame yourself. Yeah, but still. It's a bit odd, though. Trying to think about it, I can't really remember. Actually, I do at least feel better with you two here. Then again, if we had Momo here, I'd probably at least feel comfortable. I do kind of worry about her, as weird as that sounds. Really? You worry about her? Hell. Well, yeah. I mean, you guys basically help look after me and check on me all the time. But I do have one question. What did all four of us used to be before my accident? Oh, well, you see, that's a bit complicated. Before that question can really even get answered, this is whenever someone bursts through Midoriya's door. The other five people. Midoriya seeing a strange looking woman, as he immediately goes to flip his table, while Mei goes to run into the kitchen for her gun. Toru simply just throwing herself down onto the table and camouflaging herself, turning invisible. While you do have Shigaraki, who goes to run forwards and catch Midoriya. He needs to be very, very careful with his quirk, Decay. Now, he actually does go to grab onto the table. As soon as he does that, Midoriya brings up his hands and pushes Shigaraki away, basically making him fly across the room, while Jiro begins to flood the room with sound. And Mina, whenever she does run in, she throws acid. As soon as Mei does grab her gun and swing her arm around, her gun immediately gets hit by a blob of it, and she basically just throws it down. Mina quickly shooting acid at Mei. Mei goes to defend, or at least move back. As soon as this acid makes contact with her arm, it nullifies the other one that she was just hit with. This kind of confusing Mei. The sting went away. And you also do have another member, or I believe the other two that I need to introduce. Kirishima and Moneta. Both these two running in. As soon as Shigaraki was thrown across the room, and the glob of acid was thrown, Moneta immediately began to throw out his hands, trying to at least throw his own blobs of acid at the, well, attackers, you could say. Basically, they're targets. They're only supposed to restrain. And as soon as Shigaraki began to decay through the table, Mineta thought he had an opening. Kirishima basically running in, with Mineta stuck onto his arm. Mineta, yeah, he's not the regular canon Mineta. If you guys know my What If Mineta had a better version of his quirk, he looks like that. Only he's bigger and buffer. Basically, like, imagine. I don't think that would work. That's the strangest image in my head. Jesus Christ. I was gonna say, imagine Mirio, but with pink hair, which I really don't want to imagine anymore. Anyways, I actually didn't need that today. Now, let's just say Mineta is a very tall and very buff guy. Anyways, as soon as Kirishima does actually basically throw himself over the table, Mineta unsticks to him and tries to immediately grab onto Midoriya, or at least hold him down. As Toru, she quickly throws out her hand and tries to refract light directly into Kirishima's eyes. Him being blinded as sound basically gets forced across the room, breaking and shattering all the glass, as Toru gets sent flying away. And as soon as Mineta does restrain Midoriya, he immediately begins to restrain Toru. and try to talk with them. May, she's basically being held captive by Shigaraki, who simply just threatens to decay her throat. Midoriya is trying to use any quirk he can. However, if he uses one, May will die. And Katie does actually step out, telling Shigaraki to just let her go. They're here to simply talk, not kill. Him letting her go. And she simply does back up towards one of the drawers in the kitchen. Shigaraki just telling her if she grabs a knife, he won't be so nice. So just stop. Anyways, listen, I'm here to simply just talk with you and try and explain some things. You do know who I am, right, Midoriya? What? No, aren't you that detective that went rogue? No, not that way. Do you even remember anything? Not really. Were you somebody to me? Were you a friend of mine, or... No. Listen, I'm just trying to talk with you. But you have a funny way of showing it. Yeah, I'm sorry. As soon as they found out that you... well, didn't have her around, they wanted to engage. She's very dangerous. Too versatile. I see. Anyways, Midoriya trying to at least move and get up. Mineta somewhat letting him get up to his feet. And the purple slime dragged its way across the floor and reconnects with the large blob. Mineta simply just reforming his body as he gets off of Toru and does at least hold her captive. He still does have her arms bind behind her back, and he doesn't want to let her go. If he does, then she's simply going to try and attack again. And Katie does go on stating to Midoriya that they're very sorry about this. They really are. More than he can actually know. In fact, the reason why they're here is quite simple. The organization has been lying to you. What? No, they haven't. Yes, they have. Listen, I don't think I have enough time to tell you about it. With everything going on here, I'm pretty sure we already tripped your security system. Yeah, you did, honestly. Either way, you're not going to get away with this. Really. So what are you going to do to stop us? Midoriya trying to think. He's not supposed to be even using his abilities, let alone his quirks. So, he does at least try and limit himself. 2 quirks. Telekinesis, the one he's currently using, and what would be a really good one right now? Trying to think. Some sort of ability to see what's going to happen. Midoriya trying to use a form of future sight. He wants to know what's going to happen whenever he does it. And as soon as he does use his ability, he does see what's about to happen. A bullet is going to fly through the window, and it is going to try and hit Mineta. Whenever he moves, it's going to kill Toru. Midoriya immediately spinning around and rushing towards Mineta. As he does, immediately tackle both these two onto the ground. The bullet was going to fly through Mineta, since his body is slime, and hit Toru, who would be on his right. Now, as soon as Midoriya did tackle these two, more gunfire was exchanged. May swiftly trying to at least get away from Shigaraki. She did at least keep something on hand. Whenever she backed away, whenever they did take her gun, she did at least grab her taser, immediately being able to tase Shigaraki in the leg before being able to throw her hand up and grab his arm. She already did have it on his hand, basically, or at his wrist, but whenever she did tase him, she was able to throw his hand away and be able to spin her around and kick him directly in the ribs before ducking down. Kurogiri, he begins to try and create a portal, creating it and trying to get everyone to run. They all do go to retreat. Shigaraki basically jumping over the counter and decaying it, as the apartment building gets lit up with gunfire. And these 6 do begin to retreat. They are currently no longer inside Midoriya's building. In fact, they are now roughly somewhere across the city. And Midoriya, yeah. He's a bit enraged and outraged by what's going to happen. As you do have Momo, who was part of the squad that showed up, trying to understand what the hell just happened, why Midoriya messed up her shots. Him yelling at her that her shot would have missed and she would have killed Toru. The guy's body was made of slime. Momo, yeah. Whenever she heard that, she sort of just stopped, while everyone else there on the squad was simply just yelling that that is no excuse. The bullets could have killed him. Midoriya yelling at all of them that he used a form of future sight, a quirk to let him see the future. You can do that? I can do fucking anything with my quirk. Are you forgetting who you're talking to? Midoriya trying to act tough. He's trying to throw back on that old persona. It's coming natural to Midoriya, who goes on to tell the man that whenever he does head home, telling him his daily routine, he heads home, talks with his wife, and tucks in his daughter, and actually stating that tomorrow morning he is going to miss a bus, the way he usually goes to work. Midoriya beginning to make up facts from there, telling the man that he will die if he does this tomorrow. The man, yeah. He basically has no way to respond to it. Midoriya listing off multiple things of each person on the squad, until they all do just simply leave him alone. And, well, let's just say they're going to try and avoid these circumstances. Midoriya gave them all fake warnings. And, yeah, they're going to listen to him. They thought he was being completely serious. And Momo does apologize to Toru. The organization coming in and seeing the damages. Simply just leaving Midoriya here alone was a bad idea. And they do want to move him around, put him into a safe house. A place a lot harder to find. They want to get them all put into a very, very armed, durable, basically heavily armored house, which would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to simply even build, let alone pay for. You might as well be building a bunker to withstand a nuclear war. However, Midoriya, yeah, he gives a different suggestion. Instead of that, how about they all just move into the apartments? And they reinforce the windows, the structures, and the doors. The resistance, if they wanted to, they could have sent that guy who shot him, right? The guy with the explosive quirk, and do a whole lot more damage. However, they wanted to protect the civilians living on the lower floors, so they didn't try it. Now, the organization, hearing about Midoriya's proposal, yeah, this goes directly to the CEO, who, he is a bit curious. They set Midoriya's companions to be specific people. And it's actually been quite interesting the way the world has been playing out. A slight nudge here, a slight change there. Whenever they do divert a little bit of that power, they usually don't do very much. And it seems like Midoriya, his idea, might have some backing to it. Plus, there's that odd chance that Midoriya and one of these three, something might happen. And a boy or a child with a disability may be born again. Midoriya's reality-bending abilities, but stronger. So, they follow Midoriya's plan, and get the whole idea and strategy written up, remodeling the penthouse and making it more and more huge, increasing the size of it, and actually reinforcing a lot of things. Now, with that being said, they basically invested over, well, almost $1 million in making this place basically a home on top of a building. And, yeah. You do have Momo, Mei, and Toru, who, they were a bit hesitant on it, but after taking that small little chance, they all do live somewhat of a happy life. At first, they all did at least stay relatively like roommates. Until Midoriya began to learn a bit more about their past, and as to why exactly these three are such close companions of his. Apparently, he saved them on multiple instances, and even helped to improve and overcome certain parts of their past. Now, they are basically somewhat obsessed with him. At least a little bit. It's like, it's a bit odd to explain. Their backstories and origins, they used to keep to themselves. However, after trusting Midoriya a little bit, they stuck around. Midoriya used to be merciless to everyone, but he had a bit of a soft spot that only they knew about. However, now Midoriya shows that spot to everyone, and he does need to harden his skin again, grow back that shell, since they peeled it back. And, well, they begin to teach him, try and mold him back into the person he used to be. And that is how we got the present day Midoriya and his current situation. Handcuffed and basically captured by the resistance. Now, with that being said, Midoriya is about to meet his sister. However, there is one problem. He doesn't know that him and her are related. She goes by Katie Higgs, not Katie Midoriya. So, this is going to be a bit strange, especially with what she knows. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.